The dome?
So do y'all think that in a long-term relationship, cheating is inevitable?
In a long term?
Like, I'm talking like, let's say like
a relationship that lasts long.
5 year plus relationship. Do you feel like cheating is bound to happen?
So I'm gonna say this. I feel like cheating is not an automatic. I feel like cheating is a character flaw. Cheating, listen, if any decision you make in life, okay, I think people have made cheating way too normal.
Way too fucking.
Y'all have to understand, anything that you do that you did not plan on doing means that you have no self-control. If you make a vow to yourself, forget that other person for a second. If you make the vow to yourself that you're not gonna do X, Y, and Z, you don't have to do it. That you falling short of your self-control, that's between you. So to say that it's an automatic that somebody's gonna cheat if you're together for 10 years, I don't feel like that's real. I mean, I don't feel like that's a must. I don't feel like that's a have to. I feel like it's a possibility because a lot of people, they lose their self-control. I mean, if you're maintaining that, if you're maintaining your self-control over the years, like every year you're maintaining like, all right, this is my goal tonight. Do X, Y, and Z. And I mean self-control outside of a relationship. You become stronger in that. And no, you will not be tempted by, because I'm going to be real with y'all. Hold up.
Go ahead.
I'm about to speak my shit real quick.
Listen, man. Talk to me.
Be honest with you. A lot of dudes lose a good girl because of a quick nut. You know what I mean? Like you have something solid at home, and then you wake up the next morning, you look at this girl, and you like, man, she wasn't even worth it. I don't even know her name. Like, why am I even talking to her?
We do it for ego.
And now, yes, just to boost your ego for the night. And you lost the one girl out of 100, now I mean, that you're gonna meet.
How long it
you know what I mean?
How long it took you to think like this, though?
How long did it take me to think like that? It took me to mess up. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna be real.
I think it took you about, how old are you?
I'm 26. Where you going with this?
Years.
Yeah, nah. I'm gonna be honest with you.
What I'm saying is,
just learning that.
And this is what I'm saying. Finding a guy that you're talking about that doesn't do all of these things is like a needle in a haystack.
Let me tell you the truth.
You are a needle in a haystack.
Word.
There is a majority of the black men, and I'm gonna keep it real, and a lot of y'all gonna hate me for this, but it's okay. Majority of the black men, they gonna cheat at least once.
Listen, there's two reasons why men
Especially
cheat.
if it's a long relationship.
That's what I mean. That's what I asked. That's why I said, is it
relationships or marriage?
Let me just say this real quick, please. Let me just say this, please. I have to get this off before I forget. There's two reasons why men usually cheat. Is they lack self-control, and they're trying to feed their ego.
So
if
they're
that's
self-confidence. So they lack
Exactly.
self-confidence and they lack self-control.
Now let's speak about that one man that lacks both of those things. He can't control himself enough to feel the need to act on a girl. Now, I mean, but a man that is constantly working, that I don't need to operate my ego. He's reading the book, The Ego is My Enemy. That's one of my favorite books. And I mean, that's really what like had me tap into a lot of these sides of me. I mean, self-control is a must in everything in life. Now, I mean, in order to be consistent in whatever you want out of life.
But let's keep it real. A lot of men, a majority of the black man does not have self-control, especially at a young age, like your age. 26, that's young. 30 is young for them. If you 35 is really young.
I feel like at
men, 40 is when they slow down. Okay, I'm 40 years old now. Okay, let me get my little wife, my little shorty. And even then, some of them still cheat. But a lot of young men, black men, majority of them, they at least gonna cheat at least once. Finding a guy like you, like you're explaining yourself, that's a needle in a haystack.
She said, like I'm explaining.
But like you said, I feel like most of the men that are thinking like you have messed up. Like I always see the stories about the dude. Like they mess up with that girl that was for them. That was their number one. So the next girl that comes around that's for them, that's when they be like, all right, let me get it together. And she looking at the dude like, dang, like, why are you like this? Why are you so for me? And it's like, because I had a you before and I messed it up. So I will say that the men that think like that, the men that think like that is because they had the experience to lose the love of their life and they had to watch her go live and be without.
Some men have to lose multiple loves of their lives
before they learn.
I know somebody personally who literally was like, dang, I had so many good girls. And now I'm just left with this girl to settle.
Y'all know what the issue is, though? The issue is that as a man, like, women and men were raised different. Like, as a man, quantity, the amount that you can get it says it's a badge of honor. Now, I mean, how many girls you can have is a badge of honor. If you could get the baddest girl in the room, that's a badge of honor. You know what I mean? So,
but
like,
the crazy part is some guys do not even care about that. You will see a handsome guy cheat on his beautiful woman with a girl who's a 0. Why? I've heard guys say it's not because my woman is not beautiful. It's not because she's not on her job. It's not because I'm not unhappy. He's not unhappy.
I can't relate. I'm sorry.
He's not unhappy. She's beautiful. She's doing everything she's supposed to do. It's just literally she got a fat ass and it's temptation and they thinking with their penis and they horny and they just choose not to look away. They just do it at that moment and then that's it.
And the crazy thing about it is most of them get their confidence to even deal with other women from their girl. I literally am living proof. I will say somebody, I'm just going to call, we're going to call him an ex. I had an ex literally tell me, like, when you feeling me, like, when I know that you're feeling me, it gives me confidence to go out here and do me. When you're not feeling me, I don't feel confident enough to go out here and talk to anybody because you're not feeling me.
What the hell would make a man say that?
Yo, this nigga was wildin'. This nigga was a wild nigga. and I dead will never forget that day because I was sitting there like, hey, yo, like, are you telling me like what you're telling me? But by that time, we're not together because, of course, come on.
But it kind of makes sense if you think about it.
It does.
Because if you're
the
my
person
girl
that he loves the most,
if you're not feeling me, I know none of them feeling me.
Yeah.
But if you feeling me, I know they're going to feel me out there.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it was. And it's like, actually,
so
I don't even like
confidence from you.
That ass.
Yeah.
And then you got to think about it. Some men be like, okay, so they got the girl that everybody wants. So they got their trophy. Now they feeling themselves. Their confidence is up. But the confidence is way too high because now you like, shit, if I got her, I know I can get any of them. You know what I'm saying? Then, like you said, that self-control go out the window because you're feeling yourself.
Yeah. And like I said, a man can be completely happy with a woman. She can be so beautiful, so bad. Every man wants her. All of that, and he will still cheat. And because it's not that he's thinking with his heart. He's not thinking with his brain. He's thinking with his penis. She has a fat ass, and she's doing something to make him hard or make him horny, and he's going to go for it.
But I said, and I'm going to let you talk. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I said everything I said about the self-control and the ego because I want y'all to understand it's not an automatic. It is somebody lacking something within themselves. It's not just because the man is a male species and he's gonna cheat, or it's not because a female is just a woman. I mean, so she's gonna cheat. It's people lacking of something within themselves, which in return creates this type of action, which is cheating. I mean, go ahead, ask your question.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's like an analogy I always use. It's like you said, she can be beautiful, she can be smart, whatever. That I call that the man's steak. But men get tired of eating steak every day. But here's the thing though. It comes a time when a bologna sandwich looks very good. And everybody that had, if you've been there, you know what I'm saying, you done had a bologna sandwich every once in a while. And you'd be like, damn, I'm used to eating steak all the time. I get this bologna sandwich and I'm like, damn, this bologna sandwich is good. It's fried. It's all this, everything I ever.
Fried.
Yeah, fried bologna. Yeah, it's great.
Fried
you know what I'm
hard.
saying?
It got mustard on it.
Yeah, it got mustard on
Right.
it. But on the outside, it's nothing in comparison. It's nothing in comparison to the steak that you got at home. But what it makes you do is it makes you appreciate that steak at home. Dang, this is nothing like the steak I got at home.
Do you have to partake in that bologna sandwich? Do you have to taste that bologna sandwich?
You don't have to. You don't have to.
But it's very tempting
But
because you've been eating steak for years straight. So
Yeah.
now
That's when you got to tell your partner, yo, instead of steak, like, can you be chicken breast?
can you be bologna tonight?
Can you be chicken
Right.
breast tonight? Like,
Like,
dress
damn,
up or
let me
something.
get a little
like,
salmon or something.
Yeah.
But okay, so that was my next point too.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when you're in a long-term relationship, like, if you feeling like, damn, we doing the same shit, where's the communication? Like, where's the communication? Where is the you have to, first of all, if you're unhappy, you have to be adult enough, you have to be mature enough, you have to have enough communication skills to say, hey, babe, this is getting boring. You know, I love you to death, but I think that we should switch it up. We should do something different. Not, this steak getting boring. Where that bologna at? Nah. what are you talking about? You was provided with steak, so you
But
eat
this
that
is
steak.
how I feel as well. what if you got that one relationship who been in a relationship for a very, very long time? They didn't already had steak, bologna, and salmon over and over and over and over again. Now they want some lobster because we didn't already did some spontaneous stuff. I really don't think sometimes you can do different stuff with your woman. I think men loves the idea of something new.
Facts. I believe that.
Why can't you have something new in that person though? I don't think. First of all, let's just talk about what something new comes with. Something. This is the thing about it is, and this is what a man understands. Something new could come with a new headache. Right. I mean, a possibility of an STD, if we being honest. I mean, a possibility of an unwanted baby. You know what I mean? So, once you tap into that side of your psyche, that wanting something new, I'd rather get it from you. You know what I mean? Baby, instead of brown, let your hair be red. You know what I mean? Like, let your hair be blonde. Let's play cops and robbers in this motherfucker.
All right, but let's think about this. So let's say you in a relationship with a girl long term and you like, babe, I want to spice it up. Like, I want to do something different. Like, I feel like we've been doing the same thing.
Let's do it in the elevator.
And now she's offended. Now she's emotional. She's not the type of girl that you can come to and tell her, this is my issue. This is how we can fix it. I feel like we can do that and this, that, and the third, and this will make it better, babe. And she's one of those, oh my God, you're saying you don't love me.
You will figure that out in dating. Because this conversation that you need to have in dating, that's just so open to the point where when it does come time for you to have that conversation about sex, now, I mean, you'll feel comfortable because it's like, all right, in the beginning stages, the interview stages, you showed me that you're comfortable or you're allowing me to be open like this. You know what I mean? So if you've gotten that far in a relationship, what you said, years?
Yes.
Now, I mean, if you got mad years under your belt and you can't talk about sex and stuff like that, it's like, okay, why are you even?
That is the very important.
You need to talk about that early.